Good evening, SICW fans. Brian Whitaker here, welcoming you back to another Sunday evening of the SICW Update, coming off a tremendous night at the Holy Family Gymnasium in Cahokia. I'm here with promoter Herb Simmons, and we're going to talk a little bit about last night. Herb, great night of wrestling.
Well, you said it there in a mouthful. What a great night at the Holy Family Gymnasium for the fundraiser for Holy Family Church. I'm telling you, the parish members, the SICW fans, they came out in herds. I'm going to tell you, take a look at this photo that we had taken, and it just shows the capacity crowd inside that Holy Family Gymnasium supporting this great fundraiser. It was our second year there. Last year was great, but this year was even greater. I kind of joked last night about, they asked me last year after we had the WWE legend Cowboy Bob Orton there, how we could top that crowd. Well, we did it last night with the WWE legend Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and I can't thank Ishii and Michelle, the two spearheaders that led the charge on this fundraiser. I know they had some other committee members that was helping them, but they were the ones, especially Ishii was calling me periodically asking for suggestions on how to promote this, and there you see him with the $1 Million Man. Ted DiBiase, we can't say enough about Ted. Integrity, as I said last night, when you look at the dictionary, the definition is a guy like Ted DiBiase, because when he gives his word, he's definitely going to do what he says, and signed a lot of autographs last night, made a lot of fans happy. We had fans that traveled all the way from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Our good friend Shane Sin, who we even let ring the bell, be the timekeeper. It was his birthday.
A lot of birthdays in the house last night.
Shane made a trip. There was a family there that drove all the way up from Kentucky to come and meet Ted DiBiase and visit the SICW show, and we can't thank them enough. And that's what it's all about, SICW.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, for being the second annual show there at Holy Family, as you saw in that picture earlier, the house was packed, the intensity was up, and it led to a night of fantastic matches, starting from the opening bout for the SICW tag team titles. We saw the multi-state tag titles. It was just a night of excitement there in Cahokia.
Well, you're right. The SICW newly tag team titles that we crowned last month was defended. Professionals came out defending them last night, was victorious. Some people said they cheated. You know, we're looking at the tapes on that, but tonight as we sit here, the professionals are still the SICW tag team champions. We saw a debacle take place with those multi-state tag titles. Guerrilla Warfare won their schedule match they had, but then New Breed Wrestlers was there. Scotty Z, the promoter from there, which is involved with the sponsors of those multi-state tag titles. A couple of his guys from down in southern Missouri was there, or was scheduled to be on the card. But when they saw the action that Guerrilla Warfare had delivered to their opponents, ran out there and basically made a save.
Well, and they made a good point, and hopefully it's a lesson learned for Guerrilla Warfare. They said, we've been trying to get you guys to challenge you to matches for, and you won't answer, you won't call back, you won't accept it. So we had to get the promoters involved and say, look, we won our shot. And they got their shot. And
well, yeah, Scotty Z and I conferred and said, hey, they're here. All four of them's here. Guerrilla Warfare said, okay, we'll do it. And it came up on a shorter and a stick, but I can assure you the Big Texan and Waco Guerrilla Warfare, we've not heard the last
no,
of that.
They're definitely going to demand
that's a team
shot at that. Or they might take a push against the professionals for the new SICW tag titles. They're definitely a tag team to be reckoned with.
There's a lot going on in SICW, and like I said, you haven't heard the last of Guerrilla Warfare. I can assure you they've been around a long, long time. They're like the professionals. They are two sets of legitimate tag teams in the Midwest, and they'll be on the hunt for both that multi-state title, tag title again, and also the SICW titles.
And you talk about these teams. This is a little bit more than a tag team. But we saw the Travis Cook organization come out in full force last night when they came. Attila Khan, Chris Hargis, the king, self-proclaimed king, Ken Casa, and we saw Steve Fender come back last night, and say he's getting close to.
It was a big shock. I didn't know that Steve Fender was going to be there. In fact, when I saw him show up in the dressing room, I was shocked because he's been on the sidelines for a while, had some surgery, but I got to talk to him just a brief little bit. I try not to talk a whole bunch with him because he is associated with somebody that I don't see eye to eye with all the time. Not because he's shorter than me, it's just that him and I don't see eye to eye.
I get where you're going. And he made a strong statement last night that he's coming back with his eyes on Flash Flanagan.
Yeah, it's that's going to be another situation that we're going to have to keep our eye on. Flash Flanagan, of course, was absent last night. He was in Puerto Rico, actually, was booked there, and I understand he had a good match there. Can't wait to get him back here in SICW. But Steve Fender, that is definitely going to be a situation I'm going to be looking at real close, and we'll see what material lights with that.
We saw an excellent match there of the Night Train, Gary Jackson, battling against Attila Khan. And like usual, we saw a disqualification of the Travis Cook organization. And I don't think the Night Train took very well to that foreign object being used on him by Attila Khan.
Well, I want to give the referee kudos on that because, this Attila Khan, the Mongolian monster, we saw what he did when him and Ricky Cruz locked up last show. And then last night we witnessed what he did with the Night Train, Gary Jackson. I mean, this guy, Attila Khan, is on a path of destruction. And I'm kind of at my wits' ends on what's going to happen to him. Gary and I talked about it late last night. This guy is just unpredictable, and but we're going to have to see what we can do. But I'm glad the referee was on his job.
And it took Travis putting that sheet back, that hood back on him to calm him down, and that's concerning.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's some type of. I don't know if that's Travis. I don't know. This guy could be doing what Travis is telling him to do. Who knows? But,
very well true.
But we're going to get to the bottom of this Mongolian monster one way or the other, and we'll see what happens.
Let's talk about the main event last night, the Australian tag team match. Ricky Cruz and Billy McNeil taking on Curtis Wilde and his new enforcer, Kowalski.
Oh, great match. And I'll tell you, before we get into that, I was just so pleased with the amount of fans that came up. And when we announced that it was a 2 out of 3 falls Australian tag team match, because that was what it used to be called in wrestling at the Chase days. And a lot of the older population there last night come up and said, man, you brought back so many memories. We haven't heard that term Australian tag team match used forever and ever. And then to make it a 2 out of 3 falls, because that's normally what they were in St. Louis when they had a tag match like that. So I was pleased that a lot of fans there that came up and was appreciative that we're keeping that old style legacy alive.
Old school tradition alive. And I tell you what, we saw each team take a fall, and it was a hard-fought match.
Well, in those 2 out of 3 falls, I mean, I think that first fall went within about 3 minutes, something like that.
A disqualification against Curtis Wilde.
Go figure.
Who could imagine that happening?
Yeah. Go figure.
And I personally, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at any of the videos, but from my perspective, Wildfire was way too involved in the match last night.
Well, I want to show just a little clip of that action last night because there's some things that got developed there last night and is actually filled over into today.
Okay.
So let's take a look at just a little bit of that action from last night.
A mule kick. Rolls out of the way. Tag is made, and in comes the King of Chaos. Ricky Cruz delivering those big rights. Each of them finding their mark. Tag is made. In comes Curtis Wilde. Oh, no. Kowalski says, then he throws him out. And now Cruz says, I want you. It's Wilde and Cruz. Cruz says, come on, I've had enough of you over the last year or so. He grabs him, whips him off of the rope. Big boot delivered to Curtis Wilde, the volatile one, off the other rope. But he holds on, and what's he going to do? Comes out, he wants to have a little powwow, but he grabs him by the Goldilocks, and
My point proven right there. We saw just in that segment there, Wildfire, an unnecessary blow to the head of Ricky Cruz. Now he was a man and turned around, and we saw him go on to battle Kowalski there, but
She's an unnecessary evil. I mean,
she can't come to the ring without getting involved. If she wants to be a wrestler, she needs to get in the ring.
Well, and like I said, you pointed that out. I saw some pictures posted on social media today that Curtis Wilde actually posted. I mean, he had some battle scars from that, and I could see by reviewing that tape, and that's the great thing of having the recording, because I could see where that big boot from Ricky Cruz
caught him right upside the head.
Caught him right up on the head, and gave him a few abrasions there. But, these two have been at war for about a year now, back and forth. And as you pointed out, with that enforcer, the big 444-pound Kowalski in Curtis's corner, Ricky has had his hands full, as well as, he's been to the Ace Wrestling Academy.
Twice.
Beat up a couple of the students that was there, trying to make a point to me that he deserves this and he deserves that. He's put out all kinds of videos and sent me emails and text messages that I'm avoiding what he has coming to him. So guess what? Ricky Cruz last night, you heard it. He demanded it, and Ricky, make no mistake, Ricky has been a true fighting champion. He defended the SICW title all over. He's been to Puerto Rico. He's been to Mexico. He's been throughout the United States defending that title. And he defends it proudly. And when he says that he needs me to do him a favor, I'm not going to tell him no. So right there last night, we said, September the 21st, you get your shot. But before we talk about that a little bit more, let's listen to what Ricky Cruz has to say.
On September 21st, SICW comes back to Ishkran-Lillet. They have an amazing show. And Curtis Wilde, finally, you got your match for the SICW World Heavyweight belt. Curtis Wilde, 8 years ago, I won this belt when I defeated Ron Powers. I have the opportunity to have this belt handed to me by Gerald Briscoe. It was a great night for me. It was a great night in my career. And I was very proud because SICW is all about old school wrestling. SICW is all about wrestling, all about honor, respect, everything that I was trained and I was brought in wrestling for. But now, with this match, everything is different. And I'll explain why. When I had this belt at the beginning, it was a blast. I got to travel all over the world. I went to Puerto Rico, I went to Panama, I went to Dominican Republic, I traveled all over the States. I went to Mexico and represented the company. I defended this belt everywhere I went. But now, like I said, it's different. I don't know how to explain it. You see, I had great matches, great wrestling matches with people like Dave Vaughn, people like Ken Casa, people like Chris Hargis, people like Flash Flanagan. I got great wars with people like Ron Powers, Attila Khan. But at the end of the day, it was all about respect. It was all about honor. And like I said, this time is different, but it's because this time, wrestling you, it's not about honor. It's not about respect. It's my responsibility to avoid someone like you to become a champion. You see, you call yourself the marquee player, the lion from the Lou, the spark from Forest Park. Dude, you're the monkey from the zoo, the fart from Forest Park, and the wannabe player. You talk about you deserve to be the champion. My friend, you need to learn how to wrestle and then talk about championships. Because all of you've done for the past 4 months, it's cheat, beat up students, interfere in matches, bring your girlfriend to the ring, bring your boyfriend to the ring, and that's the way you want to become a champion? September 21st, you have a chance to prove me wrong. Prove me that you can wrestle. Prove me that you're all that and a bag of chips. Leave your boyfriend at home, leave your girlfriend in the locker room. Show the crowd what you got. I assure you it won't be enough. It's my responsibility to beat you down. It's my responsibility to show everyone what old school wrestling is all about. It's my responsibility to never let someone like you, a cheater, an ass clown, a scumbag, get even close to this belt. SICW is about honor, respect, and that's something that you have no idea about. You have no clue what all those things are all about. So talk all you talk. You're really good in the mic. I'm sure you're going to promote the hell out of this match. I'm sure you're going to talk and do a lot of videos and put yourself in nice rooms and put your little suit and bring your wife to touch you all over while you're doing the promos. This is the only promo I'm going to do. This is the only video I'm going to do about this match. Because I'm going to let these do the talking that night. There's no way in hell you're getting this belt. It will be a cold day in hell if you get this belt. I am not going to allow it. I cannot let it happen. It will be a dark day in wrestling. It will be a really bad thing for professional wrestling if you ever get close to this belt. So what I'm trying to say is, September 21st, I'm going to let you know and I'm going to show you where the name of the King of Chaos came from. I'm going to show you what real wrestling is all about. I'm going to show you why I am the SICW champion.
You know, I can tell you just from listening to his voice, he is on a mission.
Oh, he has.
And it's a
he
mission,
has a plan.
It's a mission of destruction, I got a feeling. And I just cannot wait to see the outcome of that. You know, you see the little clips of why he is so aggravated. You listen to Ricky Cruz, and that's why on September the 21st at the East Fond du Lac Community Center, I've signed the match between the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz, to defend the SICW belt against the volatile one, Curtis Wilde. And right now, I mean, the phone has been ringing off the hook today. People telling me their opinion. You know, some people are saying Ricky Cruz all the way. Cruz can't lose. A few people have called and said, "Oh, it's about time Curtis Wilde gets his shot." Well, I'm giving him a shot, so it's time for him to step up to the plate on September the 21st at the East Fond du Lac Community Center.
All in all, Herb, it was a great night of professional wrestling. I don't think you could have asked for a better show.
It's a great card. And again, before we move on, I just want to thank the Holy Family members for allowing us to come back there again this year in 2019 and help them. I hope it was a big success for them. I know they were working on the numbers today after they got everything taken care of. They sold out of concessions. They even had to make a couple of beverage runs, soda, and the crowd was just capacity. And the hamburgers and everything they had, the nachos. I seen kids running around with the pretzels, so I'm really happy for them, and I hope it turned out real successful for them. But again, I want to thank Ishii, Michelle, Dottie, and everybody. You know, we had people there. Costello and his family from the Coquia Police Department, several first responders, Sheriff Watson, the St. Clair County Sheriff, Chairman Mark Kern, several of the county board members, Belleville Alderman there. So people really came out and supported this Holy Family Church fundraiser, and not to mention just residents from the community and all over, like I said, people from Cape Girardeau, from Kentucky. Great time.
And we talk about the locker room as what helps put on these shows, but it's the fans that make the show.
Like I said, you've heard me say before, it's like baking a cake. You got to have the ingredients, and that consists of good locker room talent. And I think SICW has the best in the Midwest. And you got to have good fans. And if you got that, then you can put that all together, and it's going to rise. And you see that's the results of a good, even ingredients. When you have a crowd like that, capacity crowd, everybody was happy. And like I said, it was a successful night for them, and but we got to move on.
Yeah, well, We recapped last night. We jumped a couple weeks ahead to September 21st because of what last night cost. But let's not forget next weekend, September 14th. You and Tony Castro spent a lot of time last week talking about this show, the big Hall of Fame induction over at South Broadway Athletic Club.
Big Hall of Fame. Yes, my good friend, dear friend, Tony Costa joined us last Sunday night. Can't wait till next Saturday night. Hopefully I'll be able to make it over there. It's the Hall of Fame weekend. The St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame is going to have two new inductees into that. A young lady who will be on hand to accept the award, wrestled for SICW back many years ago, and I'm talking about Debbie Combs will be there. So we're really excited to see Debbie again. I saw her out in Vegas a couple years ago and reminisce with her a little bit. So it's I'm glad to get her back here to St. Louis. But she will be going into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame along with Bob Orton Sr., who appeared on the first wrestling show back in 1959 at Wrestling at the Chase, and his son, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., the ace himself that runs our Ace Wrestling Academy here at SICW, will be there to accept that award on behalf of his late father. So that's a great part of that whole show. But then the independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, the one that was created last year, where Tony Costa and myself were the first two inductees in it. They've got a list of inductees going in there that we'll be doing, and we're talking about guys like the Giant Assassin will be going in there. The most infamous manager of ever, I'm talking about Big Daddy, who a lot of you have followed his career, will be getting inducted there. Rob Phillips, another young man from back in the day to work for both SICW and MMWA. And of course, the SICW first champion, Danny Boy, will be inducted. And of course, a good friend close to myself, my family, his father and I sat at that table at South Broadway for many years. I'm talking about Keith Smith Jr. will be inducted in there. And of course, also going into that Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame is the mother of Debbie Combs, Miss Cora Combs, will be being inducted in there. So that a big night of professional wrestling, that's September the 14th at the South Broadway Athletic Club.
So we've talked about September 14th. We've talked about September 21st. But let's keep going. The next Saturday, September 28th, SICW returns to the Swansea Firehouse, a first responder tribute for the St. Clair Special Emergency Services. This is third or fourth show they've done, and that's building to be a great card. We had some of their members present there last night, brought their families out to meet it. I know we sold some tickets for their event last night. Tickets are going fast for this event, and we can't wait for him to come back to the Swansea Firehouse.
Yep, that's September the 28th. St. Clair County Special Emergency Services, as I say all along, a group of men and women highly trained in their discipline, and they're volunteers that go out there when we need them 24 hours a day, anytime. This is a way for us to show them how much we appreciate that by supporting their fundraiser on Saturday, September 28th at the Swansea Firehouse. Jason Bruns was there last night with his family.
And I believe Jason's on the thread with us here tonight. So.
Well, we appreciate him bringing his family out last night, and I know he's really working hard with his group to hopefully get a big crowd at the Swansea Firehouse on September the 28th.
So, Herb, after that, wrestling continues. October 19th.
Back to East Grondolet.
Back to the East Grondolet Community Center. We're back home.
Back home. We'll be talking a lot about that over the next few weeks. That's October the 19th when it returns to the East Grondolet Community Center. We do a monthly show there to help support the community center here in East Grondolet, and we'll have a lot more information on that as we get closer.
Well, let's do our tradition here. What's better than one wrestling match in Swansea this year?
Oh, it's got to be two.
It's got to be two. So November 2nd, the fundraiser for the Swansea Fire Department, the sixth time you're returning to the Swansea Firehouse for the Swansea Fire Department. And last year, J.J. Dillon came and brought a great crowd. But this year, J.J. Dillon wasn't enough.
Well, and when you and I talked and a few of the other members, they were so impressed with what J.J. Dillon brought, to last year's show at Swansea Firehouse for the fire department. We reached out, and everybody who's been a wrestling fan for any length of time at all remembers the Four Horsemen. So J.J. Dillon's bringing some friends with him on November the 2nd, and one of them is going to be the enforcer of the Four Horsemen. I'm talking about Iron Anderson will be with J.J. Dillon, but that wasn't enough. You said, hey, who else can we get? So we reached out to somebody who hasn't been out on the circuit for a long, long time, coming to these meet and greets. None other than Barry Windham will be joining Arn Anderson and J.J. Dillon, along with a big card of SICW stars. That's on Saturday, November 2nd, right there at the beautiful Swansea Fire Department at 144 Huntwood Road.
Absolutely,
So we're looking forward
and definitely much more to come on that. But let's keep trucking through the year. It's been a year of legends visiting SICW. So Saturday, November 16th, we might as well keep the tradition rolling.
The Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, comes to East Carondelet, Illinois. Jimmy Valiant, somebody that's been around many, many, many years, and you'll hear his life story when he shows up on Saturday, November 16th at the East Carondelet Community Center. Really looking forward to seeing the Boogie Woogie Man in the East Carondelet Community Center on Saturday, November the 16th.
And Herb, SICW has always been big about supporting local events, whether it's first responders, church organizations. Here's one that's new to SICW this year, Little Devils Wrestling. They've attended a lot of SICW events, so now it's time to have one in their own backyard.
Exactly. A lot of times they'll show up with a large group of the youngsters coming and cheering on Bobby D, one of our SICW greats. And so on Saturday, November the 23rd at Citizens Park in Belleville, Illinois, we'll be holding a fundraiser for the Little Devils in Belleville. And of course, as you said, Brian, for 46 years, SICW has helped many, many nonprofit organizations, and we're glad to add the Little Devils to that list here in 2019.
Absolutely. And Herb, what better way than to wrap up the year? Saturday, December 28th, the holiday spectacular. And SICW returns home.
East Carondelet, just a little few days after Christmas, we'll be having the last show of 2019 at the East Carondelet Community Center. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that. That's always a big show. Santa Claus usually joins us for that, and we've always got surprises. But that being the last show of 2019, you never know what's going to happen.
It could be a night to remember. But all of these events, all of these great things would not be possible without a great group of dedicated sponsors you have here at SICW.
Exactly. We tell you each and every week, my good friends down at Brooks Motor Company, Bobby and his dad, Charlie, Brooks Motor Company, if you're looking for that pre-owned, low-mileage vehicle, you got to go see Bob Brooks down at Brooks Motor Company. They also have storage sheds down there if you're looking for some storage sheds. If you got some items you want to get cleared out of that garage to make some room, go down there and ask them about renting one of their storage sheds. But that's Brooks Motor Company in Columbia, Illinois. Tell Bob that you heard it right here on the weekly SICW update on Sunday evening, and tell them to put you in one of them nice pre-owned vehicles. And of course, as we say each week, once you buy that car from Brooks Motor Company, you got to have insurance on it. So go see our good friend Al Orelt at the Allstate Insurance Company. He's got two offices, one in Belleville and one in Cahokia. Tell Al, give you a good deal on that insurance on that new car you got from Brooks Motor Company. And we can't forget our good friends at Gray Eagle Distributing, our representative Matt Brown, who helps us each and every show put out our flyers for us. Gray Eagle Distributing. If you're going to get one of them cold beverages, make sure you get it from Gray Eagle Distributing.
Absolutely. And Herb, we brought on a new sponsor last week, and this is a new organization. Let me tell you a little bit about them. SICW would like to welcome our new sponsor, CBD Hemp USA. They produce innovative, one-of-a-kind, custom-formulated products. CBD Hemp USA is the king of flavored tinctures with many organic extract flavors to choose from, as well as exotic flavors such as white chocolate strawberry, salted caramel, and s'mores. CBD is known for helping people get off numerous prescription medications. It can relieve symptoms of discomfort from a vast amount of ailments and is an excellent anti-inflammatory. Pro wrestling superstars Tommy Dreamer and Val Venus have spoken out on the use of the benefits of CBD for pain relief and anxiety. The benefits don't stop there. If you're interested in making some additional money and becoming an independent sales representative and owning your very own CBD business, interested in starting your own business or trying some of the CBD Hemp USA products, text or call Lynn Morris at 618-806-1616. We're glad to have them as a proud sponsor of SICW Wrestling.
As you said, Brian, you can't do it without those few sponsors that we have and the great
Absolutely.
fans. And I want to give a shout out to my good friend Charlie Hartman from Gimmick Tree Entertainment, who is assisting me again with the big show November 2nd at Swansea Firehouse. We're going to be hearing a lot more from Charlie in the next few weeks. But thanks to all the sponsors that are out
And there's always room for more. So what's a good number if there's a business or organization out here that wants to, whether it be sponsor a match, sponsor a legend, sponsor this Sunday night update? What's a good number for them to call?
Yeah, they can call 618-286-4848, 618-286-4848. And like I said, we'll talk with you, see what we can do. If you want to help us out, we appreciate all the help you can get. We like to continue these Sunday night updates. We want to also get back to showing you some of those old classic videos that we have, some of them dating back into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, added a little bit of flavor into that. So, but right now we got a busy year. We got some decisions to be making as we move forward. And
And Herb, you talk about kind of getting back to where we're showcasing some of them legends, and I really enjoyed that part where we got to pick a legend each week and kind of showcase some of that. But the wrestling's just got so busy. And you were talking to me earlier. Is there the possibility of a special guest next week?
yeah, we'll have, of course, he's got a lot down the line to talk about next week, and we're talking about the SICW champion, the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz, is going to rejoin us here on our Sunday night update next Sunday night. And I can tell you, he's going to be talking about September the 21st when that title is on the line against the volatile one, Curtis Wilde. So mark your calendar for next Sunday night at 8 o'clock. The King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz, will be sitting right here, and he'll be telling you about what to expect on September the 21st when we return to the East Frontline Community Center. We'll see you next Sunday night.